We made it back to Sheepy Race this morning. I haven't had any coffee, so if my eyes look a little droopy, my energy is low, it's because I'm honestly tired. I haven't had any caffeine yet. But this man's has had his caffeine.
I don't know.
It's a Saturday
Midday.
at 11:50. Not midday, still morning. The last time we saw this car, we finished doing all of the turbo side in the back. The turbos don't have oil lines or anything of that sort yet, but they are technically mounted and hard mounted, so that is good. The main purpose for today is going to be mounting the heat exchangers, which as you can actually see, they've gotten the mounting positions done and there's a bucket. Now, rather than me explaining it, I'm gonna let the man himself who's gonna be selling this kit to everyone watching this video. Oh, I'm happy for that. I've made a few lines in my time.
It's not bad, it's not bad. Laying the pipe is always good. As you guys know, Mr. over here wanted to still have trunk area, so
yeah.
Luis made him a water tank that's tall, so we still have a lot of volume, because volume is key on air to water. What we did was we bulkhead the trunk. So essentially what we have to do is A to B. So we're gonna make a line that's gonna go from there to there. Then from this guy, we're gonna go to the heat exchanger, feed up, and it's gonna go, the water will pass this way, drop down, come this way, make another line, go all the way this way.
To the next heat exchanger.
Go up, water comes up, comes down, goes this way, and then we go all the way back to the intercooler. Out of the intercooler, we come all the way back into this bulkhead, which then will feed back into the tank. This is just one big circulation system. The little guy down here is essentially gonna be, it's a -6 for check valve. So anytime TJ wants to go drag racing or something cool, wants to dump a lot of ice in there to get the intake air temps really, really low, he can drain some water out of it, put some ice on it, and do race car activity. The whole reasoning to the heat exchangers is to be able to still drive the cars on the street. Think of it as a radiator, right? That's all it is. So it's 2 radiators. That's what we're gonna do tonight. Just make water lines. For the people that do follow me know that I'm obsessed with making water lines.
So there's fittings on the back of the intercooler. Now you're like, wait, why is an intercooler getting water? I don't understand. Well, normally an intercooler, as we know, is as front mount in the JDM world. The front mount intercooler sits in the front of the car, getting all the cold air coming in. But because we're not running an intercooler in the front, the intercooler is actually inside this block right here. Now, an alternative way to keeping cool temperatures is to do a air to water, which we actually ran this in the BRZ when we had a supercharged setup. We had an air to water intercooler. Same thing for this. The water is just gonna be cooling, so rather than getting cold air, it's gonna be cooled by the water going from the bucket and circulating all the way through, going through both those little like radiators, the heat exchangers, which will then cool the intercooler, getting us cooler temps.
Fun fact is, as you guys know, most manufacturers are turning to turbocharging OEM vehicles. 80 to 90% of them are actually all air to water at a factory. It's a very efficient way. I find it to even be better than air to air because you can control the amount of water that you're pushing through the system, and you can control how much area do you have for the radiators, as we know them as heat exchangers, how much area we have to cover, right? So on an air to air, you can't, there's limiting factors. So it's the newer technology. Most people are leaning towards air to water these days because it's just much easier to control. So we'll put the hose ends on the fittings, right? And then what I'll do is, we know that the crimp collar, the hose goes all the way to this little lip, right? Yeah. So I'll put the hose end to like right there, and then I always take an educated guess, but I'll go to like there and I just run it down, and that's my measure, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll go to this toolbox where I have all these numbers on, and that's about 7.5 inches of hose. Okay. But we're using BMRS hose, so what I'll do is.
Oh, that's what you meant when that was just a template. Okay.
That's just a temp.
I understand.
So if you notice this, grab it. Nice, right?
Yeah.
So.
It's a nice hose, bud.
Yeah. Nice pipe. So what I'll do is, you always want to wrap, wherever you're gonna cut it, you always want to wrap it
so it doesn't fray when you cut it.
Yeah. Yes, because once it's frayed, you're gonna chase your tail the whole time, right? So we know we want 7 inches right there. 1 revolution.
If anyone wants a job at Sheepy Race, this is what he's looking for out of craftsmanship. So everyone just take notes, study these videos, and come in and apply for a job.
You can do what everybody else does and just go somewhere else and do it yourself. See the ribs on the inside?
Yeah.
What we want to do is just smooth that out as much as we can. So this tool, what it does is just opens it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I try on the, depends on the hose. I'll sometimes leave the tape on there, I'll take it off, right? But we're gonna start with the 90. The sheet that tells us where we're gonna set the machine to, right? So this is a -10 hose, a braided, polyester braided, okay? So it's a 19mm die. We got the 19mm die in there. The machine setting is 2.85. So we'll zero this puppy out. So we're at 0, 1 revolution, 1, 2.85.
Oh, kind of like a torque wrench.
Yeah. So when you have your setting inserted, you can't over crimp the collar.
Just like a torque wrench.
Right. If you over crimp this collar, it's aluminum, it'll crack. Or it could also damage the hose end, or if you over crimp it, it could damage the hose. You don't want that, right? So now that we have that, I always just like a little bit, push the hose all the way up, right? So it gets to that lip, and then you pull the collar up. So we drop this puppy in
and
here.
This thing will give the ultimate grip. Isn't this a really expensive machine?
So BMRS, I mean, as you can see, I have two of them. I have XRP in there and then BMRS. This stuff is what you see in like Formula One cars, like top fuel cars. So it's the best of the best. Is it needed? No. Is it overkill? Yes.
But that's what you'd want when you want reliability and not having to worry about it.
The objective is to kill the margin of error as much as you can, right? You just want to barely go over the sleeve itself. If you go too high, then you'll crimp the actual hose end and it damages it. Voila.
Dang. So that's one fitting.
That's one hose end.
That's one hose end. Kind of a fitting, is it not?
No. So this is a fitting.
I mean, sure, but like it's half a
Fitting,
Okay.
fitting.
All right.
Hose end.
Okay.
Edit that out. So we made our first hose, 90-degree hose end. So straight, overall 7.5 inches of hose. When I do measurements, depends on who does them for you. We have a different, some people will go from the end of one hose end to the top, right?
Yeah.
I like to measure hose length itself and never factor in the hose ends when I do things. So what we'll do is we'll screw it into the tank. Anytime you screw in AN stuff, you gotta be very, very careful. These threads easily get damaged. So this hose end literally has to be straight over the fitting. I like to hold the hose end and just wiggle it as I put the nut on, so you don't mess them up. And there you go.
Damn, that's baller.
Yeah. So now what we're gonna do is continue with, we're gonna go, I like to just cycle through. So from here, we're gonna go up with the car on the lip and go from the bulkhead to the top of it.
Dude, if that doesn't make you happy, I don't know what does in life. The bulkheads are really trick because it really makes everything get more of an OEM finish. How you just have like the fitting hanging out, and then obviously you have that on one side, and the other side, you have the other side of the bulkhead. It's a really cool way to snug everything up and not waste any space. And again, like Alex said, eliminate the error of percentage just with the car. It's very reliable and super, super sturdy.
Guess who actually made these lines? Mr. Hunt himself. What do you guys think?
I didn't film it because he was like walking me through like a third grader on doing it, but it's actually pretty simple once you like do it a few times. So all the lines, I guess, on this front are done. So now we are going to run the water line underneath the car. Actually, I'm gonna follow. I don't really know where we're gonna go from here. We're gonna go underneath the car, but you wanna...
We're on the right track. So we've gone through the heat exchangers. Now we're gonna go through the heat exchanger to the middle union. Because the overall length of the car, you're gonna end up with like a 12-foot hose. So we're cutting it in two. So you're gonna go to the middle of the car, we'll put a union, right, which is a fitting that has nails on both ends. And then from there, we're gonna go to the intercooler. So we're gonna make the first line, find a secure place to put the union in the tunnel.
Wait, so what's the point of the union? Is it in case of ever replacing it, you cut your price in half so you don't have to replace the whole line? What would be like the...
Having, I mean, just, you don't want a 16-foot hose. Like, no point of it. Servicing, a lot of things.
Just makes it easier to have it in two.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I understand.
I mean,
you could, but I see what you're saying. Like if you're servicing or rather than undoing it, like...
I guess just routing the hose and properly mounting things, I do it in sections. It's just easier to do, I guess.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
That's a trick question.
Learn from the best here, dude. All right, I'm gonna show you guys my new skill because I work at Sheepy Race now.
Newest employee at Sheepy Race.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody here has to sign NDAs, non-disclosures. Can you sign it before I teach you anything else?
Yeah. Not bad, not bad. That's a big hose. That is a very expensive hose. I was just hyping myself up off camera and I fucked it.
So this is what we do when you fuck them up.
I need to do it again. I need to redeem myself.
We need to,
you need to have trust so I can do it. Where's it? Did you check your pockets?
Pockets. You had it last.
Oh, but now that we just did that, is it now too short?
No, because I mean, always make them a little longer, especially when I got a newbie working. How to eat this.
I got. Oh. So why does that happen? It looked good when I went down on it.
Sleeves slip. Remember, the sleeves will slip easy when you take the E-tape off, right? So you got to make it where like the sleeve stays up.
I quit. I resign. Take that one out of my pay grade.
We were gonna give TJ this job. Said he did good.
My other two were good. I got confident, and I screwed myself.
Never get too comfortable.
Damn.
What do you eat on lunch?
Huh? I can't believe you guys have a Chipotle here.
Why are you still? What the f, bro? This isn't a third world country.
I mean, you guys have McDonald's too?
Wanna drive a Scud?
We're going for a little rip. As you guys know, a 430 is like one of my most favorite Ferrari. And Grayson just got this Scuderia 430. That blue R8 that's twin turboed right there is actually his old car. He just picked up this one and it's so cool. He said we could go for a little rip. I'm not gonna beat on it, but I definitely have to take the opportunity to at least drive it and hear it. He even said that it's faster than a 458.
It's faster and lighter.
Which I guess they make similar power, but this is way lighter. He said it weighs just over 3,000 pounds. And the 458 was the replacement for the 430. So the fact that the Scud is faster than the 458 is kind of crazy. But on the inside, it's super, super clean. You get tons of race car vibes. So the Scuderia is, yeah, a lot more raw. You have carbon doors. So like, imagine, you know how there's the SV for the Aventador? That's pretty much what this is. It's more of the stripped down, less about luxury, more about driving and raw performance. I mean, look at the floors. That's a whole level of badass.
No glove box.
I mean, what do you mean, dude? You got a little, you got a paper holder. You can put your insurance cards in there. That's so cool. The driving position is very like,
oh yeah,
prompt. Like you're very.
There's no adjustability up and down of the seat. Just
forward and
backwards, and they're all, you know, of course.
Yeah, they're on rails.
Yeah.
Wow. So I imagine it's just like the 458.
Gear, and then yep. So down you're in first, and then press this.
That's to get into manual.
Full manual. Yep. Good to go.
And it's stock exhaust.
Yeah.
And it sounds like very throaty. It doesn't feel like it's a stock exhaust. Is this wheel light stock?
Oh yeah. Everything. Shift light.
That's really cool. I like that a lot. The 458 had that and I miss it.
Yep.
Alright, this is second gear at 5,000. Dude, it's like, it just feels like a race car.
Yeah.
Oh man. Wow.
Not too bad, huh? For a
No.
2008?
No, dude. Wow. That puts like a real smile on my face. That sounded so good.
When I drove this thing for the first time, I didn't stop smiling. I was like, oh, single clutch, it's gonna be shitty. You know,
Yeah.
I'm used to a DCT, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No, it's so fun.
Dude, the single clutch feels way better than the Aventador does.
Way better.
Dang.
You look,
Dude, it's just like, it's just so like good.
Yeah.
And I can't like describe how light it feels. Like, keep in mind, I'm used to driving my Aventador all the time.
Right.
The Aventador is such a fat pig.
Right.
Like, it's really fast.
Right.
But it's so fat.
Big and heavy.
And I would never want to take that car on track.
Right.
It wouldn't do well. This is just like, I don't even know. It's like a track car.
And it's all factory suspension too.
Yeah, and I was like, the suspension feels great. It
Yep.
sounds insane. The shifting is crisp. This thing is f***ing wicked. I can't believe we went from the twin turbo R8 to this.
I know, it's a totally different car.
It's like so different. Totally. All right, so back to business on the C8. I'm almost done with all the water lines. There's only 2 more lines that I need to do. So we have all the water lines in the front, comes all the way to the back, goes through the intercooler, and now I just finished routing this line right here. On the back side, you can't really see it, but it's up there by the cat. And now this is gonna run down the other side of this trans tunnel. And I'm gonna do another joint connection like we did on this one. Sorry, it's out of focus. I'm doing this all with one hand, boys. There we go. So I'm gonna be putting on another joint just like we have on the left side. And then it's gonna run from there all the way through. And then there's a bulkhead fitting right here on the underside of the frunk.
Did you tighten the hose into the intercooler?
I did.
Really? You did all this on your own?
I did all of it on my own. You want to double check the routing that you like the placement of it, but it's connected through.
What the hell is it? Oh. Yeah, way wrong, bro. Way wrong.
I'm a big dumb idiot.
No, not dumb idiot. Just wait. See, let me show you why.
Well, because I didn't know what was
I get it. So
too
we want
scary
to run,
for
we
heat.
want to run down here and then shoot that way. You literally have it running right under the header.
I went right through it.
Yeah,
I didn't know. That's what I was gonna ask you to double check it because I didn't know what's a safe. Like I don't know if this is like heat resistant. Like
well, it is, but I'm running it as furthest as away from the header. You have it literally an inch away from the header manifold.
I'm pretty sure that's how you want it.
No.
No, I'm pretty sure like that's better.
Is it?
Yeah, because if the water's hotter, then it becomes a thinner viscosity, and if it's a thinner viscosity, then it travels quicker, which therefore cools quicker because it can travel quicker.
Sounded pretty good.
Just measured out the last piece of the puzzle. We have a right and we have a straight. Hopefully this measured out right. I'm gonna take these off, finish the line up, and we'll see how good I was.
My life. It was scary. I had a little bit of money saved. I found a little shop. It was 1,000 square feet up the street from my house. Moved in and never looked back. That was in 2014.
There's a bunch of...
2011 saw the turbo manifolds. And then in late 2013, this is the first thing out the door now. But I can't get rid of it. But so I have a little.
You see how like the Honda scene still that I used to like.
Moment of truth.
Moment of truth. Let's see if it's good. That was my song. I hope you guys enjoyed it. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, we have officially finished plumbing the heat exchangers for the car. That looks so good. Obviously, running this setup, you're gonna lose a lot of the functionality of the front. There's really no getting around that when you wanna have a car perform at like optimal temperatures and have it through optimal performance. But at the same time, we'll still be able to fit a few things in there. And we are lucky that it is a C8. So don't forget that we have this huge trunk in the back. The only time we won't have really trunk space is if we have the roof off of the car and put the roof in here. But that's the price you pay for having a baller twin turbo setup.
Yeah, but your questions aren't posted to the
All right, guys, I know you haven't seen Bailey in a while, but she just launched an OnlyFans. So if you guys want to subscribe to it, I'll link it down below.
Yeah, I show my feet.
Oh my god.
That is not something people want to see.
Okay, she doesn't have an OnlyFans, but she has an Instagram, so I'll put it here. So go say, hey, can we get some feet pics?
You have 2 sets of
Am I the only one who stops my popcorn early? Because when you have less popped kernels in there, there's more butter spread throughout the less amount of popcorn. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm the only one who does that.
I'm gonna end the vlog from this angle because I just feel like it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna get my eyelashes done tomorrow for you guys wondering. I know they look a little wild right now, but we're gonna fix them. How many of you guys can do this? Bet you not many. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Peace out and keep moving forward.